There's been a rather long thread going on in Mark's Facebook wall, and I find it rather amusing actually that there's no way for anybody to know what's really going on with the whole global warming, climate change. You know, it's all speculation. We won't know for a while what the real thing is. Everyone thinks they know. One scientist on one side says one thing, a scientist on the other side says a different thing. We can't tell if they have invested interests or not, blah, blah, blah. Kind of reminds me back in the days when smoking was not yet recognized to be a causal factor in cancer. In fact, there was all kinds of people, doctor-wise, science-wise, who would tell you yes, others would tell you no. Eventually secondhand smoke, that issue for a while. Again, oh, yes, no. Let me think. Drinking and driving. I remember when drinking and driving wasn't a big deal. People didn't really think there was an issue. And we could probably, dig up a few more of these similar topics where at one point in the distant past and not so distant past, everyone was pretty sure that X was not a problem. And now X is widely known to be a problem, and pretty much nobody objects to the fact that X is a problem except the few that do, and everybody looks at them and thinks, well, they're kind of loony anyway. So with respect to climate change and all these other things, I've always approached it from the point of view of what does it make sense to me that X or Y? Well, climate change for me, it kind of makes sense. I understand the greenhouse effect, and it figures to me that the more CO2 in the air, the better it'll trap the heat, and if there happens to be more heat coming out of the sun, that's not good for us because, the same kind of heat coming from the sun would have been trapped better. More heat will be trapped even better because more of the heat will stay. And so then what happens? Well, apparently we think we know that the more heat trapped, the more violent the storms can get and the more erratic the weather can get. So even in the middle of what is considered global warming, it seems to get colder at points in time because that thing on the polar ice cap area, that big mass of cold air gets lopsided, and it gets lopsided because weather gets kind of crazy. And anyway, I don't know how it all works. I just know gut feeling wise, it kind of makes sense that if man gets in and starts mucking with the environment in some way, shape, or form, probably it's not going to stay in balance. So, hey, but my biggest concern above all that, and what I loved about hearing the whole climate change debate come into existence, is suddenly the air was going to get cleaner. Maybe not just because we all agreed that, hey, polluted air isn't good, let's clean it up. No, it took something else to get people thinking we got to do X and Y, and the byproduct, the bonus byproduct, is we get cleaner air. I'm basically for anything that produces cleaner air. I mean, who wouldn't be? We're all breathe the damn stuff, and some of us have friends and family who are affected adversely when it gets warm and there's pollutants in the air and they can't breathe. So basically, I don't really care, because it'll take years before we finally really know what's going on. Climate change, yes, no, really human caused or not. But I like the idea that there's something finally going on that's got everybody up in arms, maybe for the wrong reason, that's cleaning up the air. That, for me, is priority number one, clean air. And who could really get upset about that? And yeah, I know there's people who, well, basically they've hung their whole life on a certain lifestyle that requires the burning of fossil fuel, and now they don't want to change that, because even though it's a kind of a self-centered interest to run around and burn all kinds of fuel for no good reason, I see them every day on my drive to and from work. There's people passing cars in a hurry, and tonight I'm on the way home and this guy races past me and a line of other cars, and he jams himself in the head of the line, and just the way the draw went at the next set of double line piece of road, I ended up in front of him, and I wasn't trying to get anywhere. I just ended up in front of him. So all that burning of fuel and racing ahead got him nowhere, and it polluted the air. That's the part that bothers me. I mean, driving like an idiot, go ahead, do that. Like, basically you're telling the world, hey, I'm an idiot. Anytime that you see that, everybody knows there goes an idiot. So feel free, drive your car if you want to like an idiot. We'll all just kind of know, hey, you're an idiot. But what really bothers me about it is it's filling the air with pollution that doesn't need to be there. So that's it. That's all I got to tell you. Bye.